5, 4, 3. Greetings.
Shabbat Shalom. Starting in just a second.
I'm Travis. You may know me from such videos as
Right.
repentance, turning away, and
Shalom. Yeah. Straight down to the back. Hallway.
yes, sir.
Yeah. Keep straight all the way, and then you're gonna make a right. The last door on the right.
Yes, sir. Through what?
Yeah.
You want me to whoop your behind? You got a piece of food on your sleeve. Pick it up and put it in the trash. Put it in the trash. Don't throw the food on your foot. Get us kicked out of another building. Sit down with that food, sir.
Man. You ready? All right, y'all, let's get ready to pray here.
What? East. To the east, my brother. To the east, my brother. My brother. 90. Don't stand up in those chairs. Stand up on the floor. It's on.
No, it's not.
There should be 2 sandwiches.
You
get the other half in here. Chill out. It's not that serious. Stand up. It's time to pray. Stand up. It's time to pray.
All right, y'all.
Actually, kind of. Yeah, kind of.
All right, y'all. All minds clear? Deuteronomy of Devarim, chapter 6, and verse 4. Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah our Elohim, Yahuwah is one. Shema Yisrael,
Shema Yisrael.
Yahuwah Eloheinu,
Yahuwah
Yahuwah Akkad. Exodus, or Shemot, chapter 20, and verse 3. We will have no other mighty one. Against the Most High. We will not make any carved image. Or any likeness. That which is in Shamayim above. Or which is in the earth beneath. Or which is in the waters under the earth. We will not bow down to them. Nor serve. Yahuwah is jealousy. Visiting the wicked. Of the fathers on the children. To the 3rd and 4th generation. Of those that hate him. Showing kindness. Thousands of those who love him and keep his commandments. Will not bring the name. Yahuwah in vain. Yahuwah will not leave us unpunished. Brings his name in vain. We will remember the Shabbat day. Keep it on death. 6 days we will labor. Do all our work. But the 7th day is the Shabbat. Yahuwah. We're in 6 days. Yahuwah made Shamayim and the earth and the sea and all that is in it. Rest of the 7th day. Therefore Yahuwah Barak the Shabbat day. We will respect our father and our mother. So that our days are long upon the earth. We will not murder. We will not commit adultery. will not steal. We will not bear false witness against our neighbor. We will not covet anything that is our neighbor.
Father God, we give thanks for this day. God, we set apart day, Father, in order to gather together. Father, we give thanks for you adding unto us, Father, allowing us to have a place to gather together, Father. We give thanks ultimately for that, Father. Knowing we could be out and not have a place, Father, we give thanks for you being timely and answering the call of our prayers, Father, and being on time, Father. We pray, Father, right now that you would just give understanding to all the people in the room, Father, impart wisdom upon each and every one of us. Give utterance unto the speaker and understanding unto the hearer, so that we all may be doers, Father. We pray for those people who may not be here with us today, that you would continue to watch over them, Father, that you would allow the people who are on their way, Father, to make it here safely, Father, just watch over them, give us safe traveling grace, Father, as we travel throughout this day, Father, and all these things. We pray by Shemi for Wawa and Kaya Hoshua, Hamashiach, and Waka Kodesh.
All righty then.
Daddy dropping that.
Yeah. If you drop it, pick it up. Pick it up. Wherever you drop it, pick it up and get it into the garbage.
All right, y'all, we getting ready to get it cracking.
Of course. Shall I write that down in my rule book? No, I don't have it.
All right, y'all, we do have a visitor in the room. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, give us a little bit of about you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
My name is Francis Scribner. I presently live in Tennessee.
Okay.
And I've been to Washington. I met Sevilla there last Feast of Tabernacles. I met her there. I was raised here in Detroit.
Okay.
And I have been in the faith for 40-some years.
Hallelujah. Praise God. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Everybody, give her a warm welcome. You know what I'm saying? Shalom, shalom. Always welcome. Anytime you're in town, come on, stop by the church. Right? As far as this lesson today, question I posed in the inbox the other day. Chelsea, we gotta get y'all together.
Y'all use Facebook? Yeah, we gotta get y'all together. Use Facebook, but basically, so we can communicate with each other, like for stuff like what we're gonna gather for feast, and the fact that we did, move locations, and that. So we gotta get y'all there.
Yeah. Okay. So I asked a question about being a shot caller, right? Now, what do you think of when you hear shot caller? Somebody that makes decisions. Exactly, right? A shot caller. Shot caller. Person that calls the shot makes the decision. Right? Say that again. A little bit louder. Head of household. Right? So, who should be the shot caller in a household? Right?
When they never mind me to talk to
Said the sound is going in and out.
The sound is going in and out?
Yeah. Speak a little bit louder, maybe.
Okay. You said when there's not no man there, who is?
Right.
Next in line. That's you? All right. Next in line, right? Well, who the shot caller in your house, though? You are?
Nobody else? There you go. Right? So we all got an ultimate shot call, right? But it's a chain of command, right? A lot of people recently have been speaking about getting married. I don't know why or what it is about this time of year, but everybody talking about getting married, having ceremonies, all this, you know what I'm saying, all this good stuff, right? So, you know how we do every year, you know what I'm saying? We kind of digress from some of the deeper things that we deal with, and we talk about marriage, right? Now, don't get it twisted like it hitting the week today, right? But we're going to deal with marriage, you know what I'm saying? Never bring the same lesson twice. So definitely get out your pen and your papers so we can handle business, right? Now, Claude spoke of last week something that was constant in the scriptures from the beginning, and it was between who? Every conflict that you see, or even a resolution that you see, is always between who? Brothers, right? So this is a relationship in scripture from Genesis to Revelation that we see, and it's prevalent, right? But there's also one more relationship that we see from Genesis to Revelation, right? And it's dealing with what? With who? Man and woman, more importantly, husband and wife, right? So we have conflict with brothers throughout the scripture. We also get conflict with husband and wife throughout the scriptures from the very what? From the very beginning. So these are two things that we got to look out for, and two things that we got to be equipped to handle when we enter into these, you know what I'm saying, into these marriages, right? Anybody name me off some relationships in the Bible that you see we get examples from? Anybody name them off? Adam and Eve, right? Off the jump. Who else? Matter of fact, we do it like this. So we got Adam and Eve. What was Adam's problem in relationship? What did he do wrong? Listen to Eve. That's true. That is true. We got punished for it. What else? What else Adam do wrong? Huh? He didn't call the shot, right? He listened to his wife, right? What else did he do wrong? He played the blame game, right? So Eve, what did she do wrong? Didn't listen to her husband, right? Because he gave her the command. What else? She played the blame game too. That's true. But we talking about as far as towards her husband. What did she do wrong? She didn't listen to her husband. What else did she do? I wouldn't necessarily say manipulate, but if Adam got in trouble for listening to his wife, what did she do? She called the shot. Hey, this is what it is, boom, 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 whatever, whatever. He said, why you listen to your wife on this, man? But this is your punishment, right? What's another relationship we can look at? No, y'all know y'all book. Sarah and Abraham? Okay, was it something wrong with their relationship or was it something good? She was impatient. So was that wrong for Abraham or wrong because she wasn't patient with the Most High, right? We're talking about what did they directly do wrong or right towards each other. Relationship with each other is going to reflect on what your relationship with the Most High is. That's what we're going to find out. That's what we're going to see. You can't just have a horrible relationship with your spouse and then think that everything is all fine and dandy with the Most High. It doesn't work like that, right? But as far as their relationship, it was nothing really bad with them, right? About Samson and Delilah. What was wrong with that? She sold him out. She was definitely been a sack chaser, right? People came and presented us, say, hey man, we're gonna give you this amount of money. You gotta let us know what's up with Samson power. Right? She did it. You got Uriah and Bathsheba, right? Might know that story. Everybody should know that story. It's David, right? What did Uriah do wrong? Nothing. What she do wrong? She's an adulteress, right? Who else we got? We got King Ahasuerus and his wife, the queen, right? In the book of Esther. Anybody know about them? Never heard of them? Anybody know? Let's go to that right quick. Go to Esther 1. Esther 1. We're gonna get into what the lesson, but I definitely want y'all to see what was up with this though. Esther 1, you can start at verse 1. Thank you, sir.
The book of Esther, chapter 1 and verse 1. Pass in the days of Ahasuerus. This is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even into Ethiopia, over 127 provinces.
So he was a king. He had a bunch of people he ruled over. How many provinces was he ruling?
127.
What is a province? Like a state, right? He was a big ruler, right? Territory, right? Keep going.
That in those days, when King Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan, the palace, in the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, and the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces, being before him, when he showed the riches of his esteemed kingdom, and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days.
He put on this big old feast. He's showing off all his riches. He the man. I'm the man. Hey, right? Read on.
And when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan the palace, both unto great and small, 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace, where were white, green, and blue hangings fastened with cords of fine linen.
I don't know if y'all remember the lesson that I did on this, but it showed the as far as this feast and it being 7 days and the things that transpire with the Most High and Mashiach and his bride. If y'all haven't, go back and look at that. Right? I don't even remember the name. I'll get it later. Go ahead.
And cords of fine linen and purple to silver rings and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and silver.
Drop down to verse 8.
Verse 8. And the drinking was according to the law. None did compel, for so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure. Also, Vashti, Vashti,
the what?
the queen,
So this did what?
made a feast for the women in the royal house which belonged to King Ahasuerus.
So he making a feast to these certain devout men, right? She done made a feast to the women, right? Read on.
On the 7th day, when the heart of the king, when the heart of the king was merry with wine,
He was feeling good, right? You know what I'm saying? That wine got him feeling right? Go ahead.
When the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Bitstar, Harbona, Bigtha, and Agta, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king,
What do you say? What do you command him to
to
do?
bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal.
With the what?
With the crown royal. Yeah.
Sound like my kind of pot. What? I don't think it was the crown royal y'all used to. Right? That was the drink right there, right? It told him to bring her with the crown royal to do what?
To show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on.
He trying to show his wife off, right?
But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command.
She did what?
Refused to come at the king's command.
So what is she being right now? Rebellious, disobedient to who? Her husband. Not only her husband, but the king. You know that all throughout scriptures, whatever the king say, go. And on top of that, this is his wife, right? Go ahead.
Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him.
It what?
Burned in him.
He was pissed. Read.
Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment. And the next unto him was Karshina, Sethar, Admantha, Tarshish, Maris, Marcina, and Memucan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom, which shall do unto Queen Vashti according to the law, because she have not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus.
What we
by
supposed
the
to
chamberlains.
do? She ain't did what you supposed to do now. According to the law, we got to do something. Can't nobody else just not do what you say and be all right. You know what I'm saying? I know that's your wife and everything, but hey, we got to do something, right? Read on.
And Memucan answered before the king and the princess, Vashti the queen have not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus.
Why they say that? Why did he say she didn't only do wrong to the king, but to everybody? But what is her not following the rules got to do with everybody else? Now, who did she just hold a feast for? The women, the wives of the men that's at the feast with the king, right? So if the king say, hey, y'all, bring my wife, and she don't come, what the rest of the women gonna say? Well, shoot, she ain't going, that's the king.
That's right, girl. That's right.
Well, my husband called me today too. Shoot, I ain't gonna go either. It's an example. So that's you know, we're gonna get into it, but that's one of the things that the older women are supposed to impute onto the younger women, to teach them how to be wise to their husband. Because if they see the older doing it, it ain't nothing for them to do. Oh, he the king. You just a soldier. She ain't go to him. I definitely gotta go to you. Right? Read on. What the next verse say?
For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes. When it shall be reported, the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before the king Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she.
So what did you just tell her to do? Put her out. Put her away. Cancel that woman. Right? Buy another one, right? Hey man, put her out. Give everything she got to somebody else. You got to make an example. Can't nobody just be doing you like that, because if they do you like that, they're going to do us like that. Right? So now we got to look at this. This woman, when she's married to her husband, she is supposed to listen to her husband. Right? Let's go back to Genesis chapter 2. I want y'all to hold on to that. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 22.
Genesis 2 and 22.
Actually, 24.
Genesis 2 and 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife.
And shall do what?
And shall cleave unto his wife.
And shall cleave unto his wife.
And they shall be one flesh.
And they shall be one flesh, right? Talking about marriage, right? Now, before we move on, I ask y'all a question. Read that verse 24 again.
Therefore shall a man leave his father and shall cleave unto shall leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
So it says, he shall leave his father and his mother, and they two, he said, they shall cleave and become one flesh. Did this pertain to Adam? They shall leave his father and his mother.
No.
Cleave? No? Why? Was this just prophecy? She already came from him? This was prophecy, right? Or was it? Did Adam still have to do this? I'm just asking the question. Eve came from Adam. He still has. So did Adam do this? Did he leave his father and his mother and cleave to his? He became one flesh. I'm not getting nothing clear. No. What you say, Art? What? They was like one flesh. But did they leave? Did he leave his father and his mother and cleave? He didn't have a mother and father, huh? The land and mother of us all. You might be joking, but you're on to something.
You don't see your hand.
No, you can't answer, man. You left the father?
Read verse 23.
Well, what'd you say, read verse 23? Start up at verse 22.
And the rib, verse 22, and the rib which Yahuwah Elohim had taken from man, made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh.
So he took her out of it. He said, This is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Right, read.
She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
So this is bone, flesh is flesh, right? Therefore, when a man leave his father and his mother, cleave to his wife, they shall be one flesh. So did it?
Y'all missing. The mother and father part is not the point.
Did they become one flesh?
They were already one flesh.
She came from his flesh, so they was one flesh.
And because they were one flesh, and husband and wife, now when you and cleave, then you be because of that.
20. Y'all got it?
Hey, they don't hear you.
Well, I want y'all to lock that one like this. We're gonna revisit this somehow, some way today, right? All right. Now, let's go to Mark chapter 10 and verse 9. Mark chapter 10 and verse 9.
The book of Mark, chapter 10.
Matter of fact, before we even start getting that, we're gonna get a couple definitions, right? Get Isaiah 62 and 5 right quick. We're going to get a couple definitions. So we're going to get the definition to marry, to covenant, and I'll think about another. Let's get this definition right quick, though. Isaiah 62 and 5. Y'all turn there right quick. Whoever got they my sword or they strong, so whatever, pull it out right quick.
Isaiah 62 and 5.
Yes, sir.
For as a young man marries a virgin, so shall your sons marry you. And as the bridegroom rejoices over the bride, so shall your Elohim rejoice over you.
So what does that word marry in that particular scripture mean? It says the young man marry a virgin, so shall your sons marry you as the bridegroom, right? What does that marry mean? The word is what? But all. That ring a bell to anybody in here? What type of bell that ring? It's good or a bad thing, right? Bad thing? So to marry or Baal, that's wrong, huh? Transliteration. Can somebody give her the spelling of that Baal?
Transliteration is Baal, B-A-A-L, phonetic, B-A-W-A-L. It's the same thing, Baal.
So that's why it's bad? Because Baal. Anybody know what Baal means? What does Baal mean? Means what? Master. Now, what we don't realize is a lot of times when we see Baal in the scriptures, it's followed by something to say the master of it, like Baal's above or Baal's above, right? What is that? Lord of the flies, right? Lord or master of the flies, right? So a lot of these names in here is Baal this, Baal that, Baal this, right? You don't see something. What does that word mean, Bob? You got it up?
To marry.
To what?
To marry. Rule over.
To do what?
Rule over.
To rule over. What else?
Possession.
A what?
Possession.
So when a man gets married, he's a ruler, he's a possessor. What else?
Own.
Who?
Own.
Own? Like I own this.
I own.
What else?
To marry. Be master.
To be a what?
To be master.
Now Sarah called Abraham master or Baal, right? So we understand that term Baal itself is not an evil thing, but it's what's put with it that makes it evil, right? Keep going though.
Husband.
To
Over. rule over.
To rule over. What else?
To be married.
So we do understand that Adam and Eve, the first husband and wife, right? First couple. Let's just go back to their story. Get Genesis chapter 3. Let's see something. So we know they bone of they bone, flesh of they flesh, right? But this right here says that to marry or for a husband to marry a wife is to mean to rule over, to own, all of these different things. When you hear that type of stuff, what you think of automatically in your mind? What you think? When you hear that to be married or a man to marry a woman, right? It means to rule over, to own, to have a possession, all of these different type of things. What you think about? Tell the truth. Wow, really? Inequality? Inequality. Okay. Anything else? Shayla, what you think? What you think? She's like, I ain't listening. I don't want. That's the only word you came up with, inequality? What you think, sis?
I was thinking more of a slave.
Slave?
But
Hey, that's not the first time I heard that. But we talking about what you generally think when you hear it. What do you when you hear those attributes of a man marrying a woman? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? So we got inequality, slave, what else? What you think? Mm-hmm. They're supposed to be joined as one. So why she the owner? Why he owner and possession and all that stuff? Oh, so you more of on the positive side of it. Not, okay. What you think? Right. No thoughts. It don't matter. You rolled your head. What you think? Man got the meaning? Submission? Okay. Well, let's see. Genesis chapter 3. Start at verse 1.
Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which Yahuwah Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, have Elohim said, You shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
Who did he say this to?
The woman.
He said this to the woman, right? Shall you not eat from every tree of the garden? Right. So now let me ask y'all a question before we move on in the story. What was he created for?
Help. Yeah, help.
To be a what? To be an equal.
A sufficient help.
To be a what?
A sufficient help.
A sufficient help. Does that mean that she gets belittled? No. Does that mean she gets trampled over? No, but she was created specifically to be a sufficient help, right? Now, anybody got a job? At your job, can you do your job solely by yourself? You work at an assembly line, right? Okay, y'all do cars. Y'all deal with cars, right? Do you make the cars yourself? Do you carry the car down by yourself? You need a sufficient help to allow you to do your job, right? Does that make you any less of a worker because of the machine helping you? No, because if you don't do your job, you still get what? Still get fired, right? So it's not to belittle the woman, but to show, hey, she was created to be sufficient help. Without her, a lot of stuff don't go down, right? So don't think that the role of a wife is not important, right? But it's not to exceed whose role? The husband's, right? We're gonna see something. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And when the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim have said, You shall not eat of it.
Elohim said that, right? Go ahead.
Neither shall you touch it.
Elohim said that, right? Elohim said that, right?
Yeah.
Where?
No, he said don't eat.
Remember, Qual brought out a couple weeks back. Most High never told us not to touch it, right? He only said don't eat it. She added to the words, right? We're gonna see how all of this stuff come into play, right? Go ahead.
Neither shall you touch it, lest you die.
Mm-hmm.
And the serpent said unto the woman, You shall not surely die, for Elohim does know that in the day you eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be as gods.
You shall be as what?
Gods.
Now, what was that definition to that word that you had? That Mary? To rule over. What else? To own. Possession. Now, he said, he's talking to who again? Specifically right here? Talking to Eve, right? He says, he know that in the day you eat thereof, you shall be as what? Can somebody pull up that definition for me?
God.
Yeah. What's the word?
Elohim.
Elohim, which means what?
Ruler.
To be a what?
Ruler.
Wait a minute. So he told her, hey, in the day you eat thereof, you're going to be a what?
Ruler.
But when a man marry a woman, Who's supposed to be the? They need two. You reading? What else it is?
Judge.
A judge. What else?
Divine one.
So who else is on the earth? Who else is right here in the garden with her to rule over? Only Adam. Can't be two rulers, right? Okay. You reading that?
Verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was wise, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew they were naked.
So when it says that they were going to be able to knowing good and evil, like Quad brought out, anybody know what that or remember what that was talking about? When he says they shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Anybody remember? Did they already know what good and evil was? They didn't. The tree itself was the tree of what? Of what? So there was good and evil already. These trees are good. This tree is not. These trees you eat from, this tree you don't. Right? Good and evil, right? It's not that they didn't know. They will be able to decide or rule over or judge what is going to be good or evil. They will be the ones to be able to determine it, right? So when they eat from it, they say, oh man, I know the Most High said that we're not supposed to go over yonder, but I think we can go. It's not that bad, right? They were going to be able to decide it. Keep reading.
Verse 7. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of Yahuwah Elohim walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahuwah Elohim amongst the trees of the garden. And Yahuwah Elohim called unto Adam and said unto him, where are you? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked.
I was what?
I was naked. And I hid myself.
Yeah.
And said, who told you? Oh, and he said, who told you you were naked?
Who told you was naked? Right? Proverbs 35. Proverbs 35. We're gonna hop off of Adam and Eve for a second. Just make sure y'all remember that. So far, the fact that Adam and Eve, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, right? How does this come into play in the latter? We also see that a husband is supposed to rule over his wife, right? Proverbs 3 and 5. He said, who told you was naked, right? What do Proverbs 3 and 5 say?
Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 5. Trust in Yahuwah.
Do what?
Trust in Yahuwah.
Go ahead.
With all your heart, and lean not unto your own understanding.
So could they have already been naked? Could they?
Were they naked?
It said they were naked and wasn't ashamed, right? It ain't even that they didn't understand that they was naked, right? But who decided that it was wrong? Who decided to hide and say, no, this ain't what it is? They did, because now they had the opportunity to decide what good and evil was, right? No, I had to hide from you because I was naked. But just in the chapter before, it says that they were naked and were not ashamed, right? We know that they had a cup, that they had a light over them. We know that they lost their light. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we realize that they were the ones who decided that this was wrong for me to be naked. Let's turn to Mark chapter 10 and verse 9. All this stuff gonna make sense in a minute. Mark chapter 10 and verse 9. Mark chapter 10 and verse 9. Matter of fact, I'll start up at verse 6. But from the beginning of the creation of Elohim, made them male and female. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. So then they are no more twain, but one flesh. And brought this up again, huh? Don't forget it. Verse 9, it says, what therefore Elohim have joined together, let no man put asunder. All right? Now, one of the biggest relationships that we didn't speak of when we first started was which one? The biggest marriage ever. Say again? Not necessarily. The children of Israel, right? And the father, right? Or which we know is Mashiach, right? Let's go to when they said I do. Because he said, what Yah have put together, let no what put asunder? Let no man, right? Exodus, is that 24? Exodus chapter 24 and verse 6. Verse 3? Okay, verse 3.
And Moses came and told the people all the words of Yahuwah and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which Yahuwah have said, we will do.
Ceremony, right? Covenant, marriage, right? Drop down to verse 7.
Verse 7, and he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people, and they said, all that Yahuwah have said, do and be obedient.
So we done said these things we gonna do and we gonna be obedient, right? Sort of like vows, right? Said he read them in the audience of the people. We're gonna do this stuff, right? Keep going.
Verse 8, and Moshe took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahuwah have made with you concerning all these words. Then went up Moshe and Aharon, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel.
Okay, that's good. So now we got husband and wife, the children of Israel, and the Most High. Stay with me, all right? Now, when we look at that relationship, is it okay for the Most High to rule over us? Right? Is it okay for us to be his possession? Is it okay for him to own us? Is it okay for, what was the other one? Him to be our master. To rule over us, right? Is there a difference between the Most High and the man? What's the difference? The love? Okay. What you say? But there's no difference, right? Get 1 Corinthians chapter 11. We're going to hit a couple prereqs. So, I ask you, sister, young sister. Now, is it all right for the Most High to rule over possession? Are you a slave to the Most High? Is it unequal? Inequality? It's not fair? It is what it is. So is that the same thing with the husband and wife marriage? I guess we're gonna walk it up. We're gonna see. We're gonna have to rid that whole, you know what I'm saying, that thought, right? All right. Where we at? 1 Corinthians 11. And 1.
1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 1. Be you followers of me, even as I am of Hamashiach. Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember me in all things and keep the ordinances as I deliver them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach.
We agree with that, right? Go ahead.
And the head of the woman is the man.
We agree with that, right? Do we?
Yeah, that many yesterday.
Do we agree? Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
And the head of Hamashiach is Elohim. Every man praying or prophesying.
Have good on that. So he says that the head of man is Mashiach, the head of Mashiach is the Most High, the head of the woman is the man, right? It's still unequal, is it? Still unequal. Ephesians 5 and 21. See if we can help you out a little bit. Verse 20. Start at verse 20.
Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 20. Giving thanks always for all things unto Elohim and the Father in the name of our Hamashiach. Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of Elohim.
Let's say submit yourselves one to another. Is that okay? No, that's okay, right? What the next verse say?
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband.
Now, it says submit yourselves to your husbands, right? Now, this ain't nothing that we strangers to that we ain't been over before, right? But we got to look at this stuff. We got to look at this stuff in a different light today, right? We're gonna come to a different, not a different understanding, but we're gonna show something different today, right? It says, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, right? How many agree that we're supposed to do this? But what does it say though after that? As unto who?
As unto the Most High.
As unto the Most High. This is one of the most important parts to this thing, right? But you know, a lot of brothers be saying, man, I gotta have a Proverbs 31 woman, right? It's hard to get Proverbs 31 right quick. I gotta have a Proverbs 31 woman. She to find a virtuous woman is far above that's far above the price of ruby and find it. It's hard to find that woman, right? How many brothers y'all here screaming that all the time, right? Like every man is a good man out here, right? Read that joint out.
The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. What, my son, and what, the son of my womb, and what, the son of my vows? Give not your strength unto women, nor your ways to that which destroys kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not, verse 10.
Verse 10.
Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies.
Who can find a virtuous woman? Her price is far above rubies, right? When you say who can find her, it's like it ain't many out here, right? Now, do y'all think that the Most High would be so unequal and it just be a bunch of men out here that's doing their thing? Have you ever seen the opposing side to this? How many men in here think they're a good man? Raise your hand. Everybody. I bet you if I went out there in that gym and asked how many men in there thought they was good men, everybody raised their hand too, right? If you get all the men in the neighborhood around here and say, how many of y'all think y'all a good man? How many of them raise their hand? The whole neighborhood. How many women think they're good women? Be honest, right? So we know that every woman ain't no good woman, but we also know that every man ain't no good man. Let's see if the book says so. Proverbs chapter 20. See, everybody get to chapter 31. Don't know you got to read chapter 20 before you get to verse chapter 31. All right? Everybody who said they're a good man, raise your hand. Everybody, I want y'all to keep your hands up while reading it. Nah, y'all all right. You got to keep your hands up. Proverbs chapter 20 at verse 6.
Proverbs 20 and 6. Most men,
How many men?
most men
Most men.
will proclaim everyone his own goodness.
I'm a good man. Right? Right? Everybody, one of y'all brothers, right? Me too, right? Read on.
But a faithful man, who can find?
Wait a minute, what is it? But a faithful man, who can find? That means every man ain't no good man. Just because you say it don't mean you a good man. Right? Read on.
Verse 7.
Mhm.
The just man walks in his integrity. His children are increased after him.
So again, we dealing just like Proverbs 31, right? But now, what we got to understand is every man ain't no good man, every woman ain't no good woman. So now we got to try to put this thing together. How do you be a good woman, right? How do you be a good husband? How do you be a good wife? Do you follow after Eve? Brothers, do you follow after Adam?
Follow the law.
Hmm?
Follow the law.
Follow the laws, right? What we gonna see? Let's go to Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 22.
Proverbs 18 and 22. Whoso finds a wife.
Find a what?
Finds a wife.
Find a woman and make her a wife.
Finds a wife.
Whoso finds a what?
Wife.
A wife.
Finds a good thing.
Find a good thing.
And obtains favor of Yahuwah.
Whoso find a wife, find a good thing, and obtain favor from Yah, right? So this is something that you can't just, like, remember, it says, what Yah put together, let no man put asunder, right? So do that mean he put together every marriage? But once you get into that marriage, guess what? You married according to the law, right? Proverbs 19:11.
Proverbs chapter 19 and verse 11. The discretion of a man defers his anger, and it is his esteem to pass over a transgression.
Hold on, wait. That ain't right. One second. Proverbs 5 and 18.
Chapter 5 and 18. Let your fountain be increased, and rejoice with the wife of your youth.
Do what?
Rejoice with the wife of your youth.
So rejoice with your wife, right? Your wife ain't just sitting there just to sit there. Enjoy her, right? But is every wife a good woman? Is every husband a good man? Proverbs 19:14.
Proverbs 19 and 14. House and riches are the inheritance of fathers.
Of what?
Of fathers.
Uh-huh.
And a prudent wife.
And a what type of wife?
A prudent wife.
What does it mean to be prudent? Intelligent, wise, right? A prudent wife is what? Is what?
From Yahuwah.
It's from Yahuwah. A wise wife, a prudent wife, right? So we got to understand there's certain wives that we, you know what I'm saying, marry, and you got to make into a good woman, or they make themselves into a good woman. That's one that's already just given to you. Hey, here go your package, right? Either way, you there. You got to do the things that are conducive for this marriage in order for it to last, right? Let's go to Ephesians chapter 5. Let me ask y'all a question. After Eve did what she did, and Adam did what he did, they got kicked out of the garden. Can Adam look at her and say, "Oh, you got me kicked out the garden. Oh, get away from me." Yeah. Nah, I don't know. I want to test to that. I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. I don't test to that. Did he have the right to? Why not? He made that choice too, right? Who made the choice first though? She did it first.
So he followed? Or
Hey, absolutely. He followed.
Right? Right? Leave.
Absolutely. That's what he got in trouble. But could he kick her to the curb afterward?
wives?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Woman got me kicked out of paradise. I don't know. Ephesians chapter 5. Huh? He was trying to save her. No? All right, let's see, y'all. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 23.
Ephesians 5 and 23.
You know, verse 22 said, wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands as unto the Most High, right? Verse 23.
For the husband is the head of the wife,
He dropped the ball, right? Read.
even as Hamashiach is the head of the assembly.
So we was just talking about the marriage between Israel and Mashiach, right? Did we, as the woman, drop the ball? Right? What did he do? Did he say, screw y'all, I'm done with y'all forever, I don't want to deal with y'all no more? Did he do that? He didn't, right? I heard a quote before. It says, here you go. It says, people usually need love the most when they deserve love the least. You understand what I'm saying again? People usually need love the most when they deserve love the least. Anybody understand what that's saying? When you ain't did scrap of nothing to deserve this type of love, that's when you need it, right? So at the point where we were just going too far, where it was time for him to be like, you know what? I want to kill all of y'all. That's when we actually needed him to step in and say, you know what? Y'all another chance, right? We wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that, right? But you need to also do that in your relationships. When you got times where your husband or your wife piss you off to the utmost. Oh, he done did all this. I don't feel like cooking for him. I'm not about to cook nothing for him. Nope. That's when you need to do it. First off, that builds character for you. You know what I'm saying? Also for the man, your woman done did something. Oh, I'm staying out all night. I'm not coming home. Can't do that. We gotta put this thing together, man. Ephesians 4 and 32.
Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 32. And be you kind one to another, tenderhearted.
Doing what?
Tenderhearted. Forgiving one another.
Why do we gotta forgive one another? He forgave us, right? Read on.
Even as the Most High, for Hamashiach's sake, have forgiven you.
Same thing, same deal, right? Their marriage is the way he acted in his marriage is how you should reflect it. You should look on your marriage and say, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't go so hard on it this time. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should ease up on it this time, right? We're gonna keep on walking it up. We'll keep on walking it up. Colossians chapter 3 and verse 18. Now, when the woman submitted herself, man, as if he the Most High and all this and that, and what the man got to do? Submit to his wife. What is he supposed to do? Colossians 3 and 18.
Colossians 3 and 18. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as it is fit in Yahuwah.
As it is what?
As it is fit in Yahuwah.
As is fit, not as you want to, but what is sufficient for him. So when you doing something that you know you ain't supposed to do, when it comes to your husband, well, I ain't gonna cook for him, I ain't gonna clean for him, I ain't gonna do this, I ain't gonna do that. Who you got to answer to? That man, whatever he did wrong, guess who he got to answer to? Remember, he gave you the chain of command, right? He got to be dealt with by the Most High. But it's your job to hold up your end of the bargain, because you're getting judged for what you do and what you don't do, right? What do verse 19 say?
Husbands,
do what?
love your wives.
Love your wives and what?
And be not bitter against them.
Now we see over in Ephesians where he says, love your wives as Mashiach loved the congregation. Is that an easy task? here? How many of us are striving to be like Mashiach? Which means that you have to be willing to give your life for your woman in more ways than one. Not just talking about, oh, well, you know, I go to work, see the lights is on. That ain't where it stopped. That's not good enough. That ain't where it stopped. Mashiach did some things for the children of Israel he didn't want to do. All right? But sometimes it's needed, whether it's for them to learn a lesson or whether it's for them to just be happy. Hey, go ahead, do your thing. All right? You can't be, you can't rule with an iron fist without having that heart in there as well. All right? Go back to Ephesians chapter 5. Ephesians 5 and verse 23 again.
Ephesians 5 and 23. But the husband is even as Hamashiach is the head of the assembly, and he is the savior of the body. Therefore, as the assembly is subject unto Hamashiach, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
In something.
In everything.
And what?
In everything.
I don't like that one. How many of y'all cool with that one? Let's be honest. How many of y'all not cool with that one?
They don't want to say.
You know what?
They don't want to say.
Hey, we family. Right, read that again. Read it again. Make sure y'all ain't cool with this one if y'all ain't cool. It's a learning thing, right? Go ahead, Doc.
Therefore, as the assembly is subject unto Hamashiach, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
How many of y'all ain't cool with that? I got to do everything he said. Everything. You ain't cool with that? I feel you, right? Everything? Let me ask y'all a question. Y'all cool with doing everything the Most High said? Are you cool with doing everything that the Most High said? Are you cool with doing everything that Mashiach said? Why not your husband? Remember, it's a chain of command, right? If it's in reason, right? Read that again.
Therefore, as the assembly is subject unto Hamashiach, so let the wives be to their own husbands within reason. In everything.
In everything within reason. That's what that should say. All right? Jump up. 2 verses. Verse 22 again.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the master.
Now, the biggest thing about this, ladies, y'all ain't by yourself. Because in order for you to get that treatment, brother, guess who you got to be like? 1 John chapter 3. Hold what you got right here. 1 John chapter 3. And if I'm not mistaken, when it says that you're supposed to be like Mashiach, let's see something. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 8.
1 John 3 and 8. He that commits sin is of the devil.
So if you out here doing wrong, if you out here sinning, if you out here committing iniquity, you are the who? You're the devil. So she's supposed to serve the devil like she served? Don't work like that. Now, women, are you still supposed to do what your husband say according to the law? Verse 9.
Verse 9.
Verse 9.
Verse 9. Whosoever is born of Elohim does not commit sin, for his seed remains in him, and he cannot sin because he is born of Elohim.
Verse 10.
And in this, the children of Elohim are manifest.
How many of y'all are children of the Most High? Children of the devil. Right? None, right? So that means that we shouldn't be doing what? Sinning. So men, if you want that treatment as a Mashiach, guess what you got to walk like? You got to walk like Mashiach, right? Everybody got to do their part. in order for the marriage to work. Right? Let's see something. Go back to Ephesians. Ephesians chapter 5 again. Start at verse 24.
Ephesians 5:24. Therefore, as the assembly is subject unto Hamashiach, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, even as Hamashiach also loved the assembly and gave himself for it.
And did what?
And gave himself for it.
This is key. This is very, very key. He gave himself for it, right? Okay. Go ahead.
That he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
Okay. Now, go back to Genesis chapter 2 and verse 24.
Genesis 2:24. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the garden of Eden cherubim and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way.
2 and 24.
Oh, my bad. 2 and 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
So, again, after all we know what husbands and wives supposed to do, all these different type of things, right? Remember, we said we're going to hit the little points, but we got to see if this applies to Adam. Does this apply to Adam? What was the answers from earlier? No? Yes? Yes? No? Does this apply to Adam? At verse 24. Leave your father and mother and cleave to your wife to make one flesh. In order to be one flesh with your wife, what do you have to do? Be married? What do it mean to be married? Join together and do it. But to be one flesh, when he says, and you twain shall become one flesh, when you cleave to each other, what are you supposed to do? We had, go back to Exodus chapter 24, right quick. In verse 3.
Exodus 24 and verse 3. And say to the people all the words of Yahuwah and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which Yahuwah have said will we do.
So this is the ceremony, right? They said we do, right? So what are the two parts of marriage in order to make it official? It's two things. You have the covenant, then what else you have? The covenant, and then what? Consummation, right? Don't nobody know that part?
We just didn't want to say it.
We grow. I mean, we got some kids, but consummation is enough word that we don't have to, right? You got the covenant, you got consummation, right? Verse 7.
Verse 7.
Oh, you ain't say it out loud? Okay.
Verse 7. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people, and they said, all that Yahuwah have said will we do and be obedient.
These things that he said we're going to do, and we're going to be obedient, right? They are already agreed to the covenant. Now, keep reading. Verse, keep reading.
And Moshe took the blood and sprinkled it on the people.
He did what?
And sprinkled it on the people.
He took the blood and sprinkled it on the people. This is the consummation, right? Because when you married a virgin, what was supposed to happen? When you consummated the marriage with a virgin, what was supposed to happen? The blood, right? Same thing, right? Consummation, all this and that, right? Cool. Now, the question still remains. Did Adam leave his father and mother? Did he cleave to his woman to become one flesh? How? No. Yes, no. Indifferent. No?
Yes.
Yeah. Golly, man. You said naturally? Spiritually? I can't tell you. I can't say it. All right. Get 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 44.
Wouldn't Eliam be his father and mother?
He wouldn't be his mother. Definitely wouldn't be his mother. He'd be his father though. Matter of fact, get if we read in Matthew chapter get Matthew chapter 1 right quick. Matthew chapter 1 and verse or is that the Mark joint? Hold on. Is that the Mark lineage? One moment. Where is that? Where's that lineage? That's in Mark. Luke 3. Luke 3. Luke chapter 3 and verse, start at verse 23. Luke 3 and 23. So we about to see something right quick.
Luke 3 and 23. And Yeshua himself began to be about 30 years of age, being, as was supposed, the son of Joseph, which was the son of Heli.
Okay, so they naming off a lineage, right? We're going to this another time. Read verse 30.
Verse 30, which was the son of Simeon, which was the son of Judah, which was the son of Joseph, which was the son of Jonan, which was the son of Eliakim, which was the son of Meliah.
Verse 37.
Verse 37, which was the son of Methuselah, which was the son of Enoch, which was the son of Jared, which was the son of Malaliel, which was the son of Canaan, which was the son of Enos, which was the son of Seth, which was the son of Adam, which was the son of Yah.
Did Adam have a father? Right? Because I heard someone say, "How he ain't had no father, no mother," right? He had a father, right? Get 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 44.
1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 44. It is sown a natural body. It is raised a spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul, and the last Adam was made a quickening spirit.
So we have the first man, Adam, right? Which came from where? The where? The earth. The dust of the earth, right? Dust of the ground, right? It ain't starting it. Read on.
Verse 45, and so it is written, the first man Adam is made a living soul, and the last man Adam a quickening ruach. Howbeit, that was not first which is spiritual, but that which is natural.
So he was naturally born from where? From the earth, right? Yeah, that's the thought. Right? So who was his father? Who was his mother? The earth. The earth. Right? You read.
Verse 47. The first man is of the earth.
The first man is what?
Of the
The
earth.
first man is of the earth. Read.
Earthly.
Uh-huh.
The second man is the master from Shamayim.
So let's jump to John chapter 6 and verse 38. So we know that the first Adam was Adam. The second Adam was who? Mashiach, right? Follow me, y'all. He says, go ahead. I'm sorry. Verse 38, John chapter 6, verse 38.
John 6 and 38.
Mashiach talking.
For I came down from
He
Shamayim.
did what?
I came down from Shamayim,
Uh-huh.
not to do mine own will, but the will of him that sent me.
But the will of him that sent me, right?
And this is the Father's will, which have sent me, that of all which have given me, I should lose nothing, but should raise it up again at the last day.
So when Mashiach came, now we got a kind of a split here. So when Adam was born, we see that his father was the Most High, but his mother in our minds was kind of non-existent, right? So we figured out it's the earth. When Mashiach came on the scene, who did he come from? Who was he born out of? Miriam, right? Well, who was his father? The Most High, right? But to people, it was kind of non-existent. Remember, it says, as was supposed, the son of Joseph, right? Well, we know that the Most High was Adam's father. The earth was his mother. We know that with Mashiach, the Most High was his father, and Eve was his mother, right? Now, we talking about, yeah, I said it wrong. We know that the Most High was his father, and Miriam was his mother, right? So how in the world did Adam leave father and mother and cleave to his wife for them to become one flesh? And then with Mashiach being the second Adam, he had to do the same thing. Do anybody got an idea of how this thing happened before we move on? It was the Ruach? I don't know. Anybody? Nobody got no idea. So he blew his breath in him, so that's how he left his father and mother? Okay. Now, where was he born and placed? What was Adam born and placed? In the what? Garden of Eden. Right? After they did what they did, what happened? What happened? He left, right? In Genesis 4:1. So who was in the garden with him? His father and his mother. Right? Didn't he come down in the cool of the day to say, Adam, where you at? Wasn't he amongst his father and his mother? Right? And he got kicked out, right? Genesis 4:1.
Genesis 4:1. And Adam knew Eve, his wife.
Wait. This is right after they got kicked out. Right after he left his father and his mother. What happened?
Eve, his wife.
Can anybody tell me what that means? Or if y'all, just give me the eyes.
Yeah.
So a man has to leave his father and his mother, and the two become what? One flesh. Did that just happen with Adam? So how did it happen with Mashiach? He left the earth. Earth wasn't his mama. Who was his mama? Miriam. How did he leave his father? Get Philippians 2:5. Let's see how Mashiach left his father.
Came down.
We know that. But for the naysayers, we got to prove, right? Philippians 2:5.
Philippians chapter 2 and verse 5. Let this mind be in you, which was here, who being the first being in the form of Elohim, thought it not robbery to be equal with Elohim, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men.
So he came down and was made in the likeness of men, right? Get John 1 and 1.
John 1 and 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim, and the same was in the beginning with Elohim.
So he was in the beginning with the Most High, right? He was with his Father, right? Get Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 23. We know that he was with his Father, right? And we know that he left. Hebrews 11 and 23. Because it was prophesied that he was that a person was supposed to come like unto Moses. Am I right?
Hebrews 11 and 23.
Yeah.
By faith, Moshe, when he was born, was hid 3 months with his parents, because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. But by faith, Moshe, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter.
Can y'all hold that, please? He refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Remember, Pharaoh's daughters who took him and said, this is my son, right? So right here it says he refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, right? I need y'all to hold on to that. It's going to make sense in a few. Read on.
Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of Elohim.
Choosing to do what?
Suffer affliction with the people of Elohim.
Didn't Mashiach leave from where his father was at to suffer the affliction? To go through what we go, it says he learned obedience through the things which he suffered. Right? Read on.
Than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season.
Go back to John chapter 17, verse 5. So we know that he was supposed to be like Moses, and he was supposed to be like Adam.
John 17 and 5. And now, O Father, esteem you me with your own self, with the esteem which I had with you before the world was.
So it showed that he was with the Father before. Now he's here on the earth, so he done left his father, right? How did he leave his mother? By taking his wife? Remember, before he cleaved to his wife, he has to leave his mother. So we see him leaving the father. He here on the earth. He done left the father already, right? How did he leave his mother? You know?
I know when you said when he's on the cross, take care of my
Yes, it is. John chapter 19. She on it. Don't second guess yourself. You got it. Right? John chapter 19. And John chapter 19 and verse 25.
John 19 and 25. Now there stood by the stake of Yeshua, his mother.
His what?
His mother.
He done already left his father, right? So before he become one flesh with his wife, he has to do what now? Leave his mother. Read on.
And his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Cleophas, and Mary Magdalene. When Yeshua therefore saw his mother and the disciple standing by, whom he loved, he says to his mother, Woman, behold your son. Then says he, Behold your mother.
Wait a minute. So he said, up there on the stage, Mama, this is your son. Son, or the disciple that was standing by, this is your mother. What did he just do? He gave away his mother. Right? What did Moses do? It says he refused to be called what? The son of Pharaoh's daughter. It's not my mama no more. It's your mama. I'm not your son no more. That's your son. Now, how did he consummate the marriage? What happened? How did he consummate the marriage? How did he marry Israel? Being pierced, right? Because what spilled out? The blood, just like before, right? Go back to Genesis chapter 2. I'm trying to see something right quick. Genesis chapter 2. In verse, let's start at verse 20. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 20. So we understand he left his father and his mother, just like Adam left his father and his mother, right? He clave to his woman. We understand that Mashiach left his father, then his mother, to cleave to his wife. But let's see some a little bit more deep. 2 and 20.
Genesis chapter 2 and 20. And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowls of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an helpmeet for him.
So Adam didn't have a helpmeet yet, right? Read.
And Yahuwah Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam.
He caused a what?
A deep sleep to fall upon Adam.
Now this is before he got his wife, right? How did Mashiach fall into a deep sleep? Say again? Absolutely. When he died. That was a deep sleep, wasn't it? Did he wake up? He didn't wake up. He woke up. Right? Get Psalms chapter 16, verse 10. The same exact thing that happened with Adam had to happen with Mashiach. If he was going to be the second Adam, he had to do those things like the first. Right? When he talking about love your wives, like Mashiach loved the congregation, this is what he went through. Psalms chapter 16, verse 10.
Psalms chapter 16,
start at verse 9.
And verse 9. Therefore my heart is glad, and my esteem rejoiced.
Remember, he asked the Father, can you give me back my esteem that I had with you from the beginning? He said, my esteem rejoice now. This stuff is over. Right? The body is dead. Read on.
My flesh also shall rest in hope.
My flesh shall do what?
Rest in hope.
My flesh shall rest in hope. I ain't got to worry about this no more. Read on.
For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell.
You ain't going to keep me sleep in the grave. Right? Read on.
Neither wilt thou suffer thine Kodesh one to see corruption.
He got him up. He rose him up on the third day, right? Just like after he took that rib up out of Adam, he sealed it up and he rose him up. Right? But was the scar still there? Did Adam still have a scar? He was the first one to go through surgery, right? Didn't Mashiach still have those holes in it? Same thing, right? Now, what we got to understand is in these marriages, like I said before, these marriages dictate if you're going to make it to the kingdom or not. Right? Genesis chapter 2 and verse 1. Genesis 2 and 1.
Genesis chapter 2 and verse 1. Thus the Shamaim and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day Elohim ended his works which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his works which he had made.
So now we know that in order for us to be in the rest with him, we got to work, right? Hebrews chapter 4, verse 4.
Hebrews 4 and 4. For he spake in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise. And Elohim did rest the seventh day from all his works. And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest, seeing therefore it remaineth that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached entered not in because of unbelief.
So now this rest that we were supposed to get came directly after our marriage, right? Now, you know we got to take this stuff back to the law. Of course, right? So after our marriage, he said, because some didn't enter in because of unbelief. When we got married on that mountain and we went through through that wilderness, some people didn't make it into the rest. What was the rest at? What was the rest supposed to be? In the land, in Canaan, right? Some people didn't make it in. Everybody that was 20 years old and younger made it, right? Because of unbelief. They kept on trying them over and over and over and over again, right? Now, remember, we're talking about that 7-day rest, that Sabbath, right? Get 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 8. Now, the biggest thing about this whole thing is what's supposed to happen before you get 1 Peter 4. Hold on. Why were we supposed to get rest after we married? After we married him, why were we supposed to get rest? Let's see. Hold on. Wait. Mm-hmm. That's 24. Hold on 1 second. Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 5. So when a man take a wife to marry, what's supposed to happen? Are they supposed to rest? Deuteronomy 24:5.
Deuteronomy chapter 24 and verse 5. When a man have taken a new wife.
A what?
A new wife.
Because we supposed to be presented new as that bride, right? When he complete the covenant, right? When a man have taken a new wife, we're not going to be the same old no more. Read.
When a man have taken a new wife, he shall not go out to war.
Where's Hashatan going to be at when we enter back into our land? He's going to be bound for 1,000 years. So guess what Mashiach not going to be doing for 1,000 years? Ain't going to be no war. Read on.
Neither shall he be charged with any business.
He's not going to be charged. What does being charged with business mean? What is that? That's work, right? He's going to be resting. Read on.
But he shall be free.
He shall be what?
He shall be free.
Where?
At home.
He going to be free where?
At home.
He going to be free at home. I wonder where we going to be at when we finish our marriage. We going to be back at home? Read.
For 1 year. And shall cheer up his wife, which he have taken.
Don't it, that quote unquote millennial reign, that 1,000 years we're going to be with Mashiach. And then right after this, now remember, he said it's only going to be for a year, right? Right after that millennial reign, what happened? What happens? He's going to be let loose, and then what's going to happen? he gonna have to tame up. But for this, in order for him to comply with the law, I gotta be at home with my bride. I gotta cheer my bride for this time. Right? Now, we're getting ready to close. Get 1 Peter 4:8. Now remember, we're talking about marriage. We see the marriage with the Most High and the children of Israel that we've entered ourselves into, right? We see the do's and the don'ts. We see the don'ts, right? One of the major don'ts is wives, don't try to rule over your husband. It's not your place. Husbands, don't be an iron fist to your wives. That's not your place. You have to work together in order to accomplish the goal. Everybody got to realize that they have a role to play. Everybody got a role to play. If one person in your assembly line don't do what they're supposed to do, the whole thing is going to be messed up. Everybody got to play their role, right? When Eve ate from that tree, Adam did also. That screwed up everybody else. If both of them would have played their part, we'd have been somewhere chilling in paradise somewhere, right? Everybody got to play their role. But because we didn't, as the wife of Mashiach, right? We've been destined for death. He done did all of these different things, but he died for us, right? Well, what did he die to do? To forgive us of our sins, right? Those that are past, right? 1 Peter 4:8.
1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 8. And above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves.
What does that charity mean? Have fervent love. In these relationships, in these marriages, he didn't say just love your spouse. He says fervent. Do anybody know what that word fervent means? Somebody look at that word fervent up. You got it?
Stretched out.
Stretched out. What else? Intense, right? This talks love. You got to love your spouse so much. When he say intent, nothing intense is just easy, right? Marriage ain't easy. You don't sign up to get married to say, oh man, it's gonna be peaches and roses. It's not what marriage is about. It's two people that have a lot of history before they got together, right? So like I always tell couples, however old the man is and however old the woman is, right? Let's say they both 20 years old. Together, you got 40 years of history together that you try to bring together and merge into one life, right? It's not, everything is not going to be easy. You weren't raised the same. You weren't born. Things weren't the same. But the way that you make things good is by what? This right here. As long as this reigns supreme, the marriage will work. If this don't reign supreme, ain't no telling, right? Read that again. He says, have fervent love. Read on.
And above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves. For charity shall cover the multitude of
shall cover the what?
The multitude of sins.
Now, who died for our sins? Get Psalms 32 and 1. Who is he doing all of this for? Is he doing it just to do it? He's doing this for who? For his wife. He didn't just die just to say, oh man, got to be saved. No, he died for his wife. Right? Remember, he put his wife, y'all got on my nerves so much, he put us away for a minute. But in order for him to reconcile that and to save us, he had to come and die for his wife. That's something that we need to appreciate. As men, you have to understand that if he did that for his wife, am I measuring up? Am I doing enough? Or if I'm going over and beyond so my wife can be all right? You in the book with your wife? Are you not only providing for your wife, are you in the book with your wife? You showing your wife stuff? Are y'all learning together? This is a reason why marriages fail, because you don't spend time together with the Most High. The only reason that y'all are married, or even it's called a marriage, is because of this. So how do you try to, well, we're going to spend time with each other. We're going to leave him on the outside. Right? Where you at? Psalms 32:1. Remember, he says, love covers a multitude of sin.
Psalms 32:1. Increased is he whose transgression is forgiven.
He said, increased is he whose transgression is what?
Forgiven.
Who forgave transgression? Mashiach, right? That's the end of that verse.
Whose sin is covered.
Whose sin is what?
Covered.
Whose sin is covered. He said, increased is this person, right? Psalms 85:2.
Psalms 85 and verse 2. You have forgiven the iniquity of your people.
He have done what?
Forgiven the iniquity of your people.
He said, you have forgiven the iniquity of your people. Read on.
You have covered all their sin.
You have covered all their sin. Remember, he says, I forgive sin, transgression, and iniquity. Right? Psalms chapter 10 and verse 12. Now, does a wife have to accept her husband? When you get married, like when we enter it back into this covenant with Mashiach, do you have the choice to do so or no? Did Eve have a choice to be with Adam? No. There's a difference. He's not going to force you. He's not going to make you be his wife. Because he said, my sheep do what? Hear my voice. I'm going to have a wife regardless. Whether you want to be a part of it or not, solely up to you. Psalms 10 and 12.
Psalms chapter 10 and verse 12. Arise, Yahuwah, O Elohim, lift up your hand, forget not the humble. Wherefore does the wicked contend with Yah? He has said in his heart, you will not require it. You have seen it, for you behold mischief and spite to require it with your hand. Or commits himself unto you.
To do what? The poor do what?
Commits himself unto you. You are the helper of the fatherless. Break you the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out of his weakness till you find none. Yahuwah is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his hand.
Well, that wasn't the right verse.
Out of his land.
But at the same time, that needed to be heard to somebody, right? Get Proverbs 28:13.
Proverbs 28:13. No, 28:13. Proverbs. Proverbs 28:13. He that covers his sins shall not prosper.
He that do what?
Covers his sins shall not prosper.
If you cover your own sins, it's not going to be good for you. When you cover your sins, what is that called? It's called iniquity. That's why he told you time and time again, he who has his transgressions or his sins covered, let me do it. Accept what I'm giving you. Right? You have to accept the fact that he came and he died for us, right? I remember we talked about King Ahasuerus, right? He had this big old feast, but his wife wouldn't come. Right? Now, trying to show off, she ended up getting herself kicked out the house. Now, the question is, was she replaced? Yes, she was replaced. Chapter 22, we're going to close on this. Matthew chapter 22, start at verse 1.
Matthew 22 and 1. And Yeshua answered and spake unto them again by parables, and said, The kingdom of Shamayim is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son, and sent forth his servant to call them that were bidden to the wedding.
Hold on. Now, didn't the king had his marriage and he sent forth his people and told his wife to come? Right? He said he sent for those that were bid to come, and what happened?
And they would not come.
And they what?
Would not come.
They didn't come, just like the queen, right? Read on.
Of other servants saying, Tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner, my oxen, my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come unto the marriage.
Didn't the king say, I got this, I got that laid out, I got all this, I got the money, I got the riches, I got the... He had the best of the best. He had the wine, he had everything laid out. All he did was ask his wife to come. Right? Read on.
But they made light of it and went their ways.
They made light of it and went their own way. Oh, man, I'm not going, man. Tripping. Right? Now, this is the same thing that the children of Israel are doing right now. You making it to where he already got this stuff set up. He already told you how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, what to look for when it happens. And if you make it through this, you got everything. I got a bunch of stuff waiting on you at the marriage. Right? Read on.
But they made light of it and went their ways, one to his farm, another to his merchandise. And the remnant took his servant and entreated them spitefully and slew them. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth.
Didn't the king say he was pissed off when the woman didn't come? Read.
And he sent forth his armies and destroyed those murderers and burned up their city.
Now, he didn't kill his wife, but he put her out. Read on.
Then says he to his servants, The wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy.
You ain't come because you wasn't worthy to come. If you don't come after all of this, you ain't worthy to be here in the first place. Read on.
Go you therefore into the highways, and as many as you shall find, bid to the marriage.
Now, what we didn't read is King Ahasuerus sent his servants out to go and find a wife. Right? Guess who they found? Right? He found somebody. Wasn't that woman. That's what I'm saying. It don't matter if you choose to come or not. He gonna have his wife. Read on.
So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests.
Now, all of these people done came. It was good women. It was bad women that stepped in front of King Ahasuerus. He didn't choose everybody, though. Let's see what happened.
And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not a wedding garment.
Because you are not a wife. It said he that finds a wife. It says a prudent wife or a wise, a smart, intelligent wife is given by who? By Yah. So obviously this person that was in it, they have a garment on. Nah, not you. Read on.
And he said unto him, Friend, how came you in here not having a wedding garment?
How many of y'all gonna have y'all garments on? How many of us are gonna be that quote unquote good wife to him to the point where when we get there, he like, okay, cool. Read.
And he was speechless.
And he was what?
And he was speechless.
Ain't it funny how when we get up there in that day of judgment, ain't nothing you gonna be able to say? Read on.
Then said the king to the servant, Bind him hand and foot,
and do what?
And take him away.
And do what?
And cast him into outer darkness.
That sounds like what happened to his wife, though, right? She got kicked out. Read on.
There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
For many are
called, but few are chosen.
Now, he chose Israel, but all Israel ain't Israel. Right? He chose us to be his wife. Everybody ain't wife material. Right? So take the examples of in the children of Israel, take the examples of Adam and Eve, take the examples of Samson and Delilah, take the examples of all of these different marriages. because they were written aforetime for our what? For our learning. Make sure you do what's right to your spouse. Because if you don't, ain't no way in the world he letting you in. All right? So with that, say shalom. Shalom. Questions, comments, concerns?
I was listening to he was explaining who the father was of Adam.
Luke 3 and 37. The father, we're about to show you who the father of Adam was. Luke 3 and 37. It's talking about the lineage of Mashiach, right? It said, which was the son of Methuselah, which was the son of Enoch, which was the son of Jared, which was the son of Malil, which was the son of Canaan, which was the son of Enos, which was the son of Seth, which was the son of Adam, which was the son of Elohim. So the Most High was Adam's father. The earth, the ground. Yep. And what we didn't show is when Mashiach came back up, he was born again from what? From the ground. He had to do Adam all over again. He was born right again from the ground when he rose. You know what I'm saying? But hey. Wise or intelligent. Mm-hmm.
Does that have a lot to do with maturity? Because I see that, my parents, they stayed here a long time but some people, when they're too fast, too young, they're not mature. Even the older people, the kids on maturity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
I'm saying those ages play a part, or maturity that plays a part.
It's maturity. It's maturity. Because when you look at it, Mashiach was but a boy speaking in congregations of people, and they looking at him like, man, what's this little kid that got all of this? You know what I'm saying? Just even looking at that aspect. But you look at people that are 25 years old, married, young, or you know what I'm saying? But because they have a level of understanding of what marriage is, it flows smoothly. Now, can some people be immature because they're young? Absolutely. Some people are old as dirt and still immature. You know what I'm saying? But the maturity comes from within the person, what they learn, what they take on, what they, you know what I'm saying, put out. You know what I mean? But maturity is it definitely goes in with prudence. Definitely.
Because I myself was married. I'm praying for because sometimes you look at the outer, and a lot of us look at the outer, the inner. And that's what goes on because we watch television, vision,
Absolutely.
And I've always heard women say, if he's not doing it for me, or I can do bad by myself, or
get Titus chapter 2, verse 3. Remember we was talking about everybody got to work together. It's a well-oiled machine, right? So you got young women in the congregation, you got older women in the congregation, right? But in order for us to work as a fine-tuned machine, as a people, this is what has to take place.
Titus 2 and 3. The aged women, likewise.
Women that are older do have experience, right? The aged women, likewise, what?
That they be in behavior as becomes Kodeshness.
So in the beginning, he says that the aged women that have that have the behavior of Kodeshness, not just any aged woman. Oh, can't teach you something, right? He says, but the aged women that have that become Kodesh, read.
Not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things.
Do what?
That they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children.
That's what we don't have no more. There's a big lack of that in the world, period, because a lot of women teach their, hey, girl, if he ain't got a credit score of such and such, better leave him alone. They don't teach you how to love your husband. They teach you how to pimp your husband. Break his pockets.
Big mama gone.
Big mama gone. You know what I'm saying? Big mama gonna tell you what's real. You know you shouldn't hit that man like that. Is you crazy? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what he said. You know what I'm saying? See, it's horrible. It's horrible. We don't have that. We don't have this Titus chapter 2 and verse 3 going on. Vice versa. We don't have a lot of men out here telling the young men how to act in neighborhood. We got me. Hey man, as long as she don't know, man, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, get you another piece, man. This is how you have you a side piece, and she don't know. Instead of go home to your wife, man. Right? You don't have none of them no more. Well, not a lot of them anyway. You know what I'm saying? But that all of that play a part in it. All of that play a part in it. What else he telling to teach them? To love their children. What else?
To love their husband. To love their children. To be discreet. Chaste. Keepers at home.
To be what?
Keepers at home.
A lot of nasty women out here. A lot of nasty women. A lot of women that don't cook for their husbands. A lot of women that don't. It's a lot of women that don't do these things, but don't get it twisted. Like we said, as much as a good woman is hard to find, same thing with a good man. Right? He read.
Good. Obedient to their own husband.
Doing what?
Obedient to their own
Girl,
husband.
next time he say something like that, you better check him. I wouldn't have let him say nothing like that to me. Usually be single people they talking to him. Or on the verge of being single, right? We can't have that. Straight up. But that's a lot of stuff that be going on, right? You get advice from the wrong people about the right stuff. You seeking out advice for your marriage, but you seeking it from the wrong people. You're not gonna go to Big Mama, which you know Big Mama ain't gonna tell you nothing wrong. You know she ain't gonna just roll with you, cause she ain't 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? She done been through it, right? What else he telling her? Obedient to their own husband. What else?
That the word of Yah be not blasphemed.
Now, it says that the word of Yah be not blasphemed. So when she's teaching her to be a good wife, all of these different type of things, how can the word of the Most High be blasphemed if a man have a wife and it's not a good one? It says and finds a, they don't say good wife. It says he that finds a wife finds a good thing. So if this man come and find you and you ain't no good thing, guess what the word of the Most High come back? You can't do that. That man marry you, say he want to marry you, you have to follow the rules because it's his name on the line. He the one who told that man if he find a wife, he find a good thing. Everybody got an important role to play. Everybody. If a man don't provide for his wife, it says he's worse than a what? Than an infidel. I ain't got nothing to do with that guy. He ain't no believer. It go both ways, right? We can't play around. Marriage ain't nothing to play with. I even look at Hosea, right? Hosea's wife went off and she was a harlot, right? What he told Hosea? Go back and get your wife, man. When you go to her, don't speak hard to her, speak soft to her, right? Get your wife back, even though she hold around. Now, why was he telling Hosea to do that? because he did it. I'm showing you something that I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell you nothing that I wouldn't do. Right? We got to be honest with ourselves, and we got to be honest with our spouses. We have to do those things that are conducive for the marriage to work. You can't be in your feelings all the time. Don't work like that. If you're going through a situation, if y'all pissed off at each other, the book tell you not to go to bed angry. How many of y'all practice that? Supposed to. Ain't no going to bed angry. Oh man, right? Then you mess around and have a dream, you messing around, or you wake up wanting to fight them and stuff, right? Ain't no going to bed angry. Go ahead. Go ahead, put one in.
Right. Oh, Ishmael.
No doubt. Ishmael came back. Abraham went and told Ishmael after he went and visited him. He seen that woman. He like, oh, hey. Why don't you tell your husband when he get back? I told you, get that nail up out of here. She's not prudent enough, wise enough, intelligent enough to know he's talking about you.
And why is it that I'm hearing some brothers from GOP say that a man can have more than one wife, they can have concubines? I have heard.
What's that? What you got back there? A can of worms? Why you open that can of worms back there?
Okay. So this how we gonna do it, right? Because I heard two things. It'll take a long time. It'll take a long time. Real quick, real easy, right? Proverbs chapter 19, verse 7.
Back there with a can of worms.
Actually, Psalms.
Oh, 19.
Psalms 19, verse 7. Now, we do understand, because I heard two things. One, can you have more than one wife? It got to be by the permission of your wife. Right? Right? Two things, right? What y'all think? I ain't gonna ask y'all that. You know what? Psalms 19.
Psalm 19.
What is it? Save me.
Psalm 19 and verse 7. The law of Yahuwah is perfect.
It's what?
Perfect.
It's what?
Perfect.
It's what?
Perfect.
The law is what?
Perfect.
Perfect. Doing what?
Converting the soul.
Converting the soul. What else?
The testimony of Yahuwah is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of Yahuwah are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of Yahuwah is pure, enlightening the eyes.
Now, the law, commandments, pure, perfect. Right? Is it lawful to have another wife? Yes. Exodus 21. The law is perfect, right? Meaning, if he wanted to say something, he would say it. If he don't want it said, he didn't say it. Are we in agreement? Exodus 21. What verse is that? 10. Oh, you know what verse it is. Exodus 21:10. I'll just play. He ain't know. He just looked on my sword. So. Exodus 21:10.
Exodus 21:10. If he take him another wife.
Wait a minute. He says, if he take him another wife. Did it say he can't take another wife? If. That means there's a possibility for an option. Right? If he take him another wife, read on.
Her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall not diminish.
Now, is this giving you the okay to take another wife, or it's telling you that you shouldn't? Says if, right? So if they decide to take another wife, there's criteria to doing something, right? If you take another wife, guess what you got to do, man? Everything that you provide, because you can't have a wife in the first place without providing food, raiment, and duty of marriage to this woman. But now, food, raiment, and duty of marriage, you got to provide for this one. See, a lot of brothers take more than one wife and can't afford it. Can't afford the one.
And they just think that the extramarital is the only thing.
No,
that
he gave you all three: food, raiment, and duty of marriage. Duty of marriage being last. Not important, but he says food and her raiment, her food and her clothes. You got to be able to provide for her, period. That's what a lot of brothers take out of the law. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my wife got a good job. That ain't what it's saying. You have to provide these things. No matter what she got. You got to be able to do it yourself, right? Now, the option, right? Does it come with permission of the wife? Right? Read verse 10 again.
If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall not diminish. And if he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money. He that smites a man so that he die shall be surely put to death.
Is that law over? He wasn't talking about that law no more, right? He don't want it to. Where's the choice? Now, we ain't gonna say just do your, you know what I'm saying? Like, we understand that the Most High and how he got down, he didn't just went off and marrying all these other different nations without you. You screwed up, right? To get the, you know what I'm saying? But does he have to have permission of the wife? No. If that was the case, would Leah have wanted Jacob to marry Rachel? No. Right? If she didn't want him to, and that was the case, well, you got to get permission from your wife. He couldn't have married her. Don't work like that. Right? Now, don't be just, if the whole thing about it is, if you get you another wife and your wife is sour and all of these things, she pissed, she just, that's how you are making your wife feel. You know what I'm saying? Brother, you got yes, that's where you had another conversation. You still got to fight though. Still got to fight, man. He said, "Don't leave the house. Go on top of the roof."
You're a corner of that rooftop.
You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? If my wife just like hell bent against it, no, I'm not going. Hey, I ain't trying to walk around and see my wife blue in the face, stomach hurting, crying. I'm not. That's not being a good husband to me. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. I can't find you in the law where it says, you know what I'm saying? But I do know that I ain't gonna make my wife feel like that. So if my wife is against it, I'm against it. I ain't for it anyway. I ain't got time for it. That's too much of a headache for me anyway. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Got my hands full. My wife ain't no bad wife now. Got my hands full. All right? So to answer your question, it's law. To answer your question, yes, because she's watching. Hey, how you doing? Good wife right there. No, but real talk, she a good wife. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in here know it. But to answer your question, do we have to have permission of the wife? It's not law. So I hope that got us in enough trouble. Yeah. Quab, you got something to say, man?
I'm not teaching today.
Yeah. Well, I left out the
Unless it's 2 weeks ago.
So Anybody else?
Sit down.
All right. With that, say shalom.
Let's play out.